Praised be Jesus and Mary. This Sunday's gospel passage illustrates that we need to use and to develop the gifts that God has given to us because we will be judged on how we accomplish this task. And this is a very important line. The gospel says each servant was given according to his abilities. See, God knows us. He knows what we're capable of. And he's not going to ask us too much. He's not going to demand too much. God is the giver of all the gifts that we possess. And although, everyone has they have a different amount of gifts, everyone's called to implement the use of these gifts, no matter how many or how few they may be. When we use and develop the gifts that God gives to us, He gives us more and calls us to higher tasks. As we can see from the gospel reading today, he's expecting that we're going to double what he's given us. So if you've been given 5 talents worth of ability and you add 3 more, then you can go to the master and say, I have 8 talents here. And that's good, but let's say someone else comes in and says, I started out with 2 talents, and they come back with 4. It would appear you've done much more than what they've done. You have more, but in fact, they've doubled what God has given them, and you haven't. So it's not a question of who has more. It's a question of what we do with what we've been given. That's what the Lord is looking for from us. It's unfortunate that we tend to busy ourselves with all kinds of things that aren't really important, and we completely ignore the things that are most important. What each one of us needs to do is to look at the various activities that we fill our time with and ask ourselves, when I stand before the Lord on the day of judgment, what am I going to be able to tell him? I don't think he's going to be too impressed that we watched more soap operas than anyone else, or that we went to more football games than anyone else, or whatever it might be that are just completely worldly pursuits. Certainly, there's nothing wrong with recreation, but it must be balanced. America has made recreation the priority rather than just another piece of what balances our lives. The top priority, as we've seen so many times, and what Scripture makes very clear, is that it must be God who is our top priority. Each and every one of us, no matter what our state in life may be, no matter what our circumstances might be, if we're called to be faithful servants, we must use each gift and talent God has given to us in a fitting way. As the parable of the talents shows, God abhors indifference and an attitude that says, well, it's just not worth trying. God honors those who use their talents and gifts for doing good. Those who are faithful, with even a little, are entrusted with more. But those who neglect and squander what God has entrusted to them will lose what they have. There's an important lesson here for us, and that no one can just stand still for long in the Christian life in the pursuit of perfection. You either advance, you either get more, or we lose what we have. We go back. There's no park in the life of perfection. Like, I'm comfortable here, and most people are comfortable with mediocrity, but it doesn't work. You either lose, you either fall back, or you advance. You don't stand still. So let us seek to serve God and our neighbor, with the gifts, the talents, the graces. He not only gives us the gifts and the talents, but he gives us the grace to use them, and let us use them to our advantage. Of course, we have to realize this is not accomplished through our own efforts. We need Our Lady, the mediatrix of all graces, to help us and to call upon her. She's our mother. She will assist us, and she'll help us to serve her Son adequately.